triple casters.
Oh, shish. That's a little bit of a jump scare there, but right as we get to the chip select, I am Stu, joined by apparently Code and Crimson. Let's go.
Code is here, but he's just not on the actual overlays or anything like that. By the way, Stu, if you could just share your screen. But welcome everyone, or no one by the looks of Twitch chat right now, to the KDL, our what is it, second game of day 2. So this is very exciting. Triple cast. These things usually don't happen. I'm very surprised. These are unheard of possibilities.
They only happen for bangers, expected bangers.
Sure.
Only happens for bangers indeed. We're going to be starting off this banning phase. Sorry, I want to say banger phase, but this this banning phase. Damn you! With a Zac and a Xin Zhao ban, do we see more jungle-oriented bans coming out from either side, or do you think that they're more so just playing to deny all of that utility and strong engage?
I mean, I think they're probably gonna ban out Poseidon a lot. Poseidon is one of the strongest players on ABD, so it is pretty likely that they'll toss maybe like one more ban his way. I wouldn't be too surprised. Although they did already ban Xin Zhao and Zac, so there's a lot of his pool gone. Maybe they'll ban Skarner, but they're gonna pull up the Viego. And I think
really
this
like
game,
this Viego ban.
yeah, it's pretty good for them. This game does have a lot of weight though, as ABD and GME. GME especially made a lot of moves in the offseason and have a brand new roster. Right. Pretty much the only people that stuck around are, I think, Nian, Jay, and JT. So you have the 3 out of the 5, but they are using their sub jungler currently, so it should only be 2 out of 5. As a Diana ban will
this
come in.
GME squad as well is that we're seeing so many dynamic role swaps as well, right? We have seen these players before, obviously, play here in the KDL, but this time around it is completely different because we are seeing, for the most part, a 4-man role swap aside from Bidoof, whose main role has been that mid lane, that point of emphasis for a lot of teams that he's played with. He is previously a Season 2 champion, previously a Season 4 second place winner. We look at Jinsoul T-Lam, a Season 3 winner, Season 4 third place, and I believe Season 2 second place. This is a highly decorated team when it comes to GME, and now it's just in terms of translating those championships, that experience in the KDL, and just functioning as 5 onto some team here such as ABD, a team that for themselves have had such strong runs in previous seasons, but not the runs that they really want.
Yeah, and it's been unfortunate for them. They have been kind of hyped up. I think everyone has kind of heard the tales and praises of Kawhi, who has done miracles in the bot lane, but unfortunately hasn't been able to make it, very deep into the tournament. I think they finished 4th last season, which is their highest standing to date. Yep. Which, is a respectable standing for sure, but it's definitely not what they're aiming for. These players are always aiming for that #1 spot, as Jay here is going to lock in the Nocturne. We've been seeing a lot of this, and kind of LCS and LEC has a lot of priority in those regions, and it's looking like it's making its way into the KDO as well.
I mean, like you said, right, Kawhi Star has been that point of emphasis, that ideal support player for the last couple of seasons. Granted, obviously, you being a support main, you might have some differing opinions, but he, no matter what, has been kind of that shining horse on this ABD roster. And now it's just a means of whether or not that's actually going to stay prevalent through this season, because a lot of players on this ABD roster have increasingly gotten better and have tried to play different parts of the map. Before, their main objective was playing through top and sometimes bot. By the looks of it now, they really want to put that whole map on perspective. And whether or not they do it, we're just going to have to see. But like you said, Kawhi Star is just, when you think about the definition of a true support, I think of Kawhi Star. If someone breaks into my house, I'm not calling 911. I am calling Kawhi Star.
That might be the best life choice, but I can respect the kind of rhetoric behind it. One of the biggest moves, I think, was the Never Lose disbandment in the offseason. The Akatsuki obviously picked up Code, and then GME picked up Bidoof, and we actually do have Code here with us. So how do you think that Bidoof is going to mesh into this GME team? Do you think it'll work out better for him than Never Lose? Maybe a little bit worse?
I think it might be a little bit worse, honestly. Like, looking at the GME roster right now, I feel like there are just 5 solo queue strong players, like, matched together all of a sudden. Bidoof obviously sticking to his own main role, for whatever reason. Actually, I know the reason, but I'm not going to be toxic and talk about it. But like a lot of the players are playing their off roles, so we'll have to see how they come together.
Well,
versus
I want to ask
a team that's been playing together for like 3 seasons now,
right,
and has a pretty good team synergy. So
Well, I want to ask you, Code, as a former teammate of Bidoof's here, when it comes to playing, the map equally, it seemed like for the most part, when it came to that never lose team dynamic, you guys mostly played through mid, but then on this later season, you guys played through AD carry. Do you think that this game is going to go, that kind of old school never lose where they mostly look for rotations through mid, look to snowball mid early, or do you feel like he's more so playing utility as he did in season 4?
We'll have to see. I'm not sure how they play yet, but I don't think it's gonna be super mid focused.
Yeah, especially in this game where we did see the Kog'Maw and Lulu kind of picked up. That is one of the strong meta picks at the moment for some reason. Lulu remains a broken champ that is just so obnoxious, and paired with Kog'Maw, I think everyone can understand how that lane goes. And that is picked up here for the side of GME's bot lane, so I think we could potentially see just a bot lane focused game coming out from GME. And maybe a little bit less of a mid focus due to that.
Yeah, for sure. I really like this GME squad. And like Code was saying, on paper, it realistically looks like 5 players just got picked up out of nowhere. But then again, you could say the same thing for last season's Survey Core. You could say the same thing for when Never Lose started coming together all the way back in season 2. This could be potentially the start of a new type of KDL dynasty. Whether or not that's going to happen, we're just going to have to see. A lot of people thought ABD were on that run for that kind of title before. And, unfortunately, and that's not to take away from ABD at all, but unfortunately, their start has not been anything but, kind of shaky for the most part. So a win here today against one of the tougher teams in the KDL so far will definitely put a chip on their shoulder.
Absolutely. I think a win for either team here will kind of really set in stone the standings that a lot of people have. Because I think the top and the bottom of the standings are pretty clear. People kind of understand which teams are strong and which teams are weak. But towards maybe second or third place, it's really a toss-up.
Suki is definitely on the bottom there, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But towards that second and third place, it's really kind of a toss-up, and you can't really tell based by looking at the rosters on paper. A lot of teams have the potential to be good, but until they really play these games and figure out how these games are going to go, and we get the results to start coming in, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So, if GME does have an uncharacteristic loss here, as there is no way this gets locked in. Oh my God, D-Kid!
Wow, D. Kane. I've never seen a Sunfire Nasus, but I think I will see one today.
Oh, surely he goes Sunder.
Yeah, I don't know. Surely you would think that someone would go Gordrink or Kled, and then we saw Sunfire. So, when it comes to ABD, the thing I love about this team, and I've loved from their iterations in previous seasons, is that they don't play to a certain, norm. They don't like to play towards the meta. They like to reinvent themselves. And this could be a reinventation. We could be looking at a new type of playstyle for ABD that we have not seen before. There is that normal meme, I guess, where it's like Rave likes to build tank, but look at the games last season. He was doing pretty well doing that same exact thing, and we could be looking up an ante up here in today's game. Granted, you are taking Dilly out, so you are taking that 80 carry that you picked up last season and replacing him now with Henry, a player who has really been ping-ponging for the last 3 seasons when it comes to different teams, but is still played at a consistently high level. So we're just going to have to see how well he fits into the ABD dynamic.
Yeah, and we can see that, they picked up Aatrox there as a counter pick to that Nasus, and, sure, you have some lane dominance and you scale decently well, but into Nasus, it really does put a timer on this game. Nasus, into Kog'Maw, you just wither him, and then it's just straight depression for the side of GME, so they really have to...
Akali into Fizz.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an ego check from Penelope. He thinks he can take on this Fizz.
I just wanna point out that every time Penelope has played against Bot Diff, he's asked this team to ban Fizz, and this game is open. So his season 2
ABD moment
is back.
Yeah, ABD moment for sure.
Yeah, wow. Penelope has had struggles against Fizz in the past. I think when he played against Dawn of Day, if I remember correctly, which is Henry's old team. They did have that Fizz one trick in the mid lane, and he picked Fizz and showed Penelope a good time, so he could potentially show that again. But Penelope is not one to kind of take it standing down. He will just use this Akali, and he does have the potential to really dive into this backline and try and make some things happen. So it'll be an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, we are going to be getting into our 3-minute spectator delay. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the KDL.
There's no time for redemption. Those flags you
they can hear us. Stu, you name mute us.
For a little salvation, those flags you wave represent them. The world is watching. Here's your judgment. Here's your reckoning. Write your story down. It's your history. Judgment. Here's your reckoning. So go and bring home the glory alive. Here's your judgment. Here's your reckoning. Write your story down.
Yeah, Code, that's an excellent point. I would also let Hyunjin bully me.
What a banger to come back into as we are just sitting here at the 94%
Shoot.
mark.
Oh, stop! The Joker's not coming out! Stop! Anyways. Anyways. Guys, I knew I was unmuted. Chill.
Yeah, he for sure
We
did.
need content. Come on, guys.
Yeah, please, it's desperate out here as we're waiting for this
Yeah.
load screen. I think someone might have had just playing on a laptop on the floor. Straight B setup.
Yeah, I think it might be on the bed. You know, feet 90 degrees.
Okay, any day. Alright, we are loaded into the game, but whenever the lead client wants to let us see what is happening in the game. There we go. Now we're starting up. Oh my god,
Man,
this
I love
game.
the lead client.
Yeah, this game is certainly something else as, oh, Tyler here going for the super defensive build of the boot and 4 pots. You know, you kind of hate to see it, but at the same time, it is kind of necessary into Ezreal. What a disgusting champion in the current meta. Even with the Divine Sunray nerfs, this champion is still pretty insane. So it's going to be interesting to see which kind of ADC can flex their damage more and put out more damage in this kind of game.
Yeah, it's interesting because you left for a couple seconds, but during those couple seconds, Code actually brought up a really good point. I didn't really think about the reasonability or the rationability behind picking this Nasus pickup in the top lane, but then I remembered, Hullbreaker just dropped on 11.13, and I'm really thinking that, that's Rave's playstyle this game, especially seeing how it is in Nasus. You just go for the side lane splits, especially with that Hullbreaker around that second item power spike. And you just really do work on these towers. You get the stacks and you get the towers for free for the most part. Because exactly who is actually going to stop you? The Aatrox with an early executioner or the Nasus who will constantly be trying to stack up? Wait, this is actually very interesting. He actually took Unsealed Spellbook.
It is definitely a choice.
All right. Remember how I was just talking
interesting-
for those 30 seconds? Forget everything I just said. I just saw his roots. Forget everything I said.
The interesting thing I see is that ABD picked Ezreal, Rumble, and Leona as their first 3 picks, but then decided to pick Nasus as a split pusher.
Right.
So when your first 3 picks are like team fighting picks, and your 4th pick is Nasus, I don't know how they actually want to play this game.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of wanted to do both at the same time, where they want to send Nasus into the side lane and just fight 4v4. Just gentleman's agreement, let's handshake, no top laners allowed, and just kind of fight 4v4, which realistically is probably not going to happen. Jay is going to want to push those team fights and really make the ball start rolling, because if this Fizz gets ahead or Nocturne gets ahead, it's going to be very hard for ABD to deal with this. They really don't have any kind of peeling tools outside of Leona.
I mean, like Code just said, right? You pick that Leona and the Ezreal, you put a point of emphasis on these 2 champions, especially seeing how that is going to try to be an early aggro lane. So it's like, what do you want to play? Do you want to play weak side towards top side? Or do you want to play a really aggro bot side? Right now, as it stands, ABD truly only has the Leona to set things up on a hard engage. I guess you could argue the Nasus Wither or even the Rumble on that equalizer late game. But for the most part, just that point and click CC on some of these more mobile champions on the side of GME will definitely just be relying on Leona's shoulders for the most part to get things done.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how these early lanes are playing out. You can see that, in the bot lane, Ezreal Leona really doesn't have too much of anything they can say about Kog'Maw and Lulu. Lulu just having so much base damage in her kit, she's able to zone off Leona pretty effectively. And unless some jungler comes, which it's not looking like it's likely with Poseidon being topside, they are just going to kind of shove that wave in and get a nice little cheater recall. And in the mid lane, you can see there was some heavy trading. It did end up that Bot Diff did end up recalling after he shoved in the wave, so he as well gets a nice little cheater recall. So you can see GME here really utilizing their early lane power in order to get some, small but noticeable advantages.
Really like that push up here on the side of Jay from GME on this Aatrox. They instantly spot out the Rumble now, and we might be looking to get a first engage here. Nyan on this Nocturne trying to push forward, gets dissuaded by that Rumble E. Rumble E not really doing too much right now. Definitely will be a power spike around that Night Harvester. Oh, nice little kunai going to be landed here for Penelope. Makes it look so easy on this Akali. Poseidon is here for a potential gankarino, though. Nyan is definitely dead.
Oh my
Rave is going to
God.
die here. Yeah, perfect flash. Perfect Nocturne tanking as well. Aatrox just soaking up 2 shots off the tower. Gets a little bit back from that triumph. But that does mean kind of hell for this Nasus, who will be forced to instantly TP back. And it's sort of towards, the middle of the wave. Instantly
no.
having to just get out here. Nocturne also just pathing still towards topside.
Oh, I thought he was going to go for the regank since he TP'd back. But it looks like he's
There's no
opting
way.
out of
There's
it.
no way.
I mean, if you really
There's no
want to
way.
ego it, you could go for it, and I would respect it. But he's making the safer play, wants to make sure that his team gets a nice and steady lead, and wants to progress the game
Just
forward.
a heads up, they can see chat on screen. We might wanna move that down just in case this is just kind of a banger game where there is a lot of back and forth. These are 2 teams that do like to get vocal, do like to get rowdy, so I would fully expect the chat, or at least, that all chat to be the exact same situation. Poseidon did get, actually he has not gotten his back off, interestingly enough.
Yeah, he's just gone for, kind of a full clear Rumble with base damage being high enough that he can just kind of progress through this jungle. No real problems. He is going to have a fat back when he does get back. He is sitting on around 1.3k gold, so he's probably going to get, a nice little back going for himself, and he could potentially look to influence one of these lanes as, Nocturne has made a lot of early influence where Poseidon has decided to go a little bit more into the farming route, wants to power farm until that 6, and then try and make something happen at that point.
I think that's usually just how the set in plays. Like, usually early game he just likes to farm, tends to farm, and not gank unless it's like a really free gank. So, pretty sure that's just his style.
Yeah, it is.
Especially with his weak lanes early on, can't really do much.
Yeah, there's not much he really could make happen. He did try and make that mid gank happen, but as we do see Nasus here getting slapped up.
This is a kill.
Oh my god, nice little flash from Jay. Gives him a nice little 2-0 start there. Not one kill to him, sorry. Or sorry, not 2 kills to him, but an assist there. We are seeing an engage here on the bot side now. Lulu and Kog'Maw just showing their prowess here as Leona tried to engage, but they end up getting hurt the most. Leona still looking to flash forward from Kawhi into the instant EW, forces out T-Lam to flash as well.
Yeah, and it was a nice little play there from Tyler. Definitely showing a little bit of knowledge in the matchup where if Leona goes on you in this kind of matchup, you really lose if you try and focus her. So Kog'Maw just completely ignores Leona and just goes to Ezreal instead. And due to Lulu's buff on top of Kog'Maw, they're able to win that trade. And that's just really the way they need to play it. A lot of players will just kind of AFK and focus on Leona, and that's really not how you play against this lane. So a little bit of knowledge coming out from Tyler there.
Yeah, and he also did get the call there. So I really like the call buy here just because you are going to be playing more passive in the lane, especially early against such a hard engage as Leona. You just get that additional gold. You know, Ezreal can free hit to his dismay with those Qs, but you as well will get a nice little juicy gold advantage here, especially early on when you really need it the most. Ooh, nice Kawaii Star combo there to take out precisely 3 hits of that ward.
Yeah, nice
That's why
little
he's the
thing.
best support.
Yeah, I mean, it is a small thing. Most Leona players will know it.
No. That's why he's just a genius. I've only ever seen Core JJ do that. And Chris. That's about
And
it.
Kawhi,
Or
don't
not
forget
Chris.
that one.
Yeah, and Kawhi. Yep.
You can see, you know, in the mid lane, the farm is going a little bit to the wayside for both of these players, opting to trade more into each other than looking to take that CS. You can see, you know, a little bit of a CS gap starting to grow here in this top lane. Jay here up 20 CS on this Nasus, really punishing him early, kind of regretting picking the Kayn as his Nocturne goes in.
Nocturne going to be using his ultimate here. Kawaii Star barely about 20 HP here, or 20% HP rather. Double TP coming out as well. That is going to be Penelope, unfortunately. Lands here late. Nice little double knock up there. Bidoof is looking for a little bit more. The ult from Fizz does go out as well. Poseidon had already used that equalizer, trying to get things started. But just a huge collapse on the side of ABD and their game plan. They used so many sums there for hardly any kind of result. Oh, wow, nice little stop there on the side of Henry to stop Jay and force him a little bit more time there to back.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's going to be instantly taken though.
dude, I just absolutely love my 2v2's bot when everyone shows up. So it is really nice for ABD that they were able to get 2 TPs out of GME and not really lose anything. They lose a little bit of CS, they get chunked out, some people have to reset, which is whatever. But compared to the TP that they got from Jay, it's such a valuable asset. So GME or ABD really feeling kind of comfortable in this setup where Rave will have his TP up before Jay, so he should be able to kind of make a play, influence the map, and try and make something happen. And additionally, because Jay TP'd bot, he was able to shove that wave in topside, get a lot of stacks, and kind of catch up that CS gap that was building.
You know what I just realized, and I'm surprised none of us actually saw? We have a Conqueror Rumble who typically goes the Night Harvester even with that Conqueror, but this time around he actually is opting in for a Riftmaker. The most recent game that a Riftmaker Rumble was played in was T1, and I believe that was against, don't quote me, I think it was KT, and it was a Lim who played it, if I remember correctly. I believe they won that game, but still, it's very unorthodox to see a Riftmaker because the Riftmaker essentially is promising that you're going to keep your sustainability and be healthy enough in these fights. Whereas Rumble is a champion that, you know, once you do get fully, you know, all of those stacks up on your character, you really want to just back up if you do not have that full Q potential. Penelope using double ultimates here. Equalizer just right upon Jay as Jay is in his own ultimate of his own. Nasus is now going to be popping the ult as well. Nocturne trying to close the distance up on the top lane, but it's a little too late.
No.
Jay is going to be falling down.
No.
Now Nyan might have just
No,
sealed
why
his
did
own
you
death.
go
He
in?
does have that flash out. He will get that fear on top of Poseidon. Oh my goodness, it is going to be the Nasus that takes it, but no DKing for him.
And just
Yeah.
like that, I think GME just threw their early game lead.
Yeah, you can see the gold is even back up. Nasus can be able to shove in this wave, maybe get a plate or two, and get a lot of stacks. And Bidoof here is struggling in the mid lane against the Akali. He's going to be forced to reset. And it's just tragic for them.
Oh wow!
When
Henry
that
actually
Ezreal
cancels
just
out.
canceled the recalls.
Yeah, he actually just canceled out both recalls there. Well, they could look to turn this around. Leonalt is actually going to knock down right on top of TLM. TLM getting that Lulu overgrowth now on top of him. Henry dangerously low. Actually eased right forward. It is going to be Kwaiser who takes it. But I'm sure Henry is dead here. Sayonara, baby. It is Lulu now who is between a rock and a hard place here. The exhaust does come out. But I'm not quite sure why. Lulu does flash away. And oh my goodness, that is a clean 1-for-1. Oh, Poseidon moment. Oh, okay, he does get that smite down, though. He will secure the IF the Herald, but he unfortunately will go down as a result of it.
Yeah, I think interestingly enough, I didn't even notice it until that fight had occurred, but both of these supports had taken exhaust, which is really unorthodox on Leona. Mostly, Leona, you really want to go with the ignite for the kill pressure. You only take exhaust when you absolutely have to, and I think Leona feeling threatened enough by this Kog'Maw that she does have to take it, but it does create an interesting dynamic where you don't really have any extra damage, so both AD carries really have to know their damage output in these fights. And it led to that scenario.
Right now.
Yeah, led to that scenario where both of them just, so close to death. Henry barely edging out due to Leona base damages. Jinso here just walking forward, chunking out Henry a little bit.
Yeah, at this point, I think it's really proper for Jinso just to hold a nice little freeze here. It just kind of prevents Poseidon from setting anything up in terms of the lane or just ganking from a brush, because I think at this point, seeing how there is so much hard CC, especially when it comes to how that Leona would interact with the Lulu, I think you kind of can get away with just playing a little bit more passive and wait for that mid-game spike. Because for the most part, GME is winning so far, but they could be dominantly winning at this point too.
Yeah, they definitely were in a more commanding position before that top lane 2v2. It really did start to even the game up a little bit more. As you can see, Nasus here has a lot of his core components is stacking up. He is sitting at around currently 141 stacks. So stacking up very nicely. We'll probably hit the 200 by 15-minute mark if all things goes well. And it's looking nice for him. That early game blunder really not mattering too much as the game did even back up. GME here sitting around 500 gold ahead, which is pretty negligible. It's around even. As a lot of these champions are getting close to their first items, they're already starting it up.
What? Was that a bug? The first Q of Aatrox actually landed and there was no knock-up on Akali, but now we are going to be looking at a total engage here onto the support there. Instantly getting deleted. JT's regretting his whole life up to that point, and it is Poseidon who gets the kill nonetheless as well. They are going to be summoning Herald up. Forces Jinso off of this tower. Remember, Herald does secure at least 2 plates guaranteed, so 1 plate will be a remainder here, but still a huge advantage for the bot lane of ABD.
They should just be plates to and then to Dragon. Are they going to reset?
Yeah, they're resetting. Because they see Nocturne on the ward, so I think that they are in fear of just having that ult. I don't remember his ult for some reason, but they are just...
But at the same time, Fizz and Lulu were both off of the map, and ABD has TP.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he has TP, but it is a player to where you could start it up and check it, and then if Fizz TPs, you just back off and you get a TP
back
for free.
Up and just get it. Yeah, well, I mean, it's just one of those things, right?
Yeah, it's a small thing, but it's something that could potentially matter. As the longer this game goes, it does get better for ABD, so they really need to maybe stall out the game a little bit more, as the fight is coming out here at Dragon anyways.
Yeah, this is important as well. Nocturne actually going to look to get things started. Overgrowth in the back line immediately going to be going out. Fizz ult will tag upon Penelope, but it is going to be Kwaiser who is the first to go down here. Lulu trades it up with the Kali. Meanwhile, they do get the trade off their own, and that will be Nyan, the Nocturne jungle of GME, who does go down as a result, so a 2-for-1. But they cannot look to do this Dragon in good faith, knowing that their smite has died.
I don't actually like how ABD went for that Dragon fight, because when they decided to reset, they basically just gave up Dragon, because they already used Rumble and Leona ultimates, whereas Jamie still had all of their ultimates. So taking that fight was already pretty bad to begin with.
Yeah, fortunately for them, they were able to pick up the jungler, and that did stop GME from doing it for a little while. So it looks like we're just right back onto the Dragon. ABD taking advantage of GME's back timers and just taking it somewhat without threat this time, as Kawaii replaced a little bit of vision and then promptly go back to lane. But we can see a lot of these first items coming out for these champs. You can see that Rave has opted for the new item, Hullbreaker, which is a lot more of a split pushing item, allows his minions to be stronger and makes him a much more deadly split pusher. As you can see, everything else is pretty standard for everyone else. You can see Kog'Maw building the Wit's End as the Leona R comes out.
Okay, Leona ultimate is going to actually take upon Lulu, who's just sitting on that equalizer. She gets that nice little E on top of herself, but look who is here to join the fray. The TP coming out from Bidoof, the monster himself. It is going to be Jinso who gets it, but now the Fizz ult is going to be thrown out on top of Poseidon as well. Look at Jinso just playing so up forward. The shutdown does go to him. Henry is the next one on their chopping target. Oh, Penelope in the backline, though. Overgrowth going to be landed right on top of this Lulu. Henry forced to flash away. He for sure is dead here, though. Henry will just get a triple out of this fight by the looks of it. Poseidon looking for a little bit more. Nocturne does have that paranoia available if they really want to chase forward. But oh my goodness, what a complete collapse and disaster on the side of ABD. They get so much out of that last minute drag fight, and then they instantly just say, you know what, let's coin flip this. And as a result, they just lose out on 3 kills for nothing.
They just come in way too hard.
No! It is going to be Penelope who does go in there, but gets deleted by the Lulu. He felt himself too much. Oh my goodness.
They just come in way too hard onto Lulu at bot lane. They used everything on her and they didn't kill her.
I can understand it. It's the kind of play where they're like, okay, we have our jungler here, we should try and make something happen. So they're trying to kill Lulu very quickly. But they didn't notice the Kog'Maw was just free hitting over the wall and ended up chunking out Henry and then absolutely chunked out Poseidon. And once that happened, they just chose the wrong avenue to exit. And from that point, it was just pretty much a guaranteed triple as Nocturne here is topside.
Nasa's going to be throwing out his ult immediately. The fear does put him in a nice little position for himself nonetheless, but Rave actually feeling himself as a result of Poseidon being towards topside here. Kawhi is slowly but surely making his way uptown here. Again, Kog'Maw and Lulu are just hovering around this mid lane, putting really a lot of pressure on Henry and Leona. At this point, the Kog'Maw is 5-1-2 with the Lulu absolutely mirroring that score as well. It is really tough here, and I think that, you were talking about the unorthodox nature of having that exhaust. I think that's exactly what ABD needs now in these team fights to sort of look at least to get ahead.
Yeah, that exhaust, if they don't have it, it's pretty much an unfightable fight. They will need it on either Rave or on Kawhi in order to either push Kog'Maw out of the fight and be able to fight at all, or just try and focus him down and make sure he's not going to delete you guys. As Poseidon here is potentially looking top. Looks like he's going to opt out of it as he does see Nocturne there in the top river. And we see Rave here, he's able to farm, but it is under heavy pressure from this Aatrox. He's not letting him get it for free.
Yeah, think of how much worse that top lane could have been if ABD didn't get the 2 kills.
Yeah, it would be absolutely unplayable for them as the bot lane is unplayable. Kog'Maw sitting at 5-1, 600 gold, has 2 items completed as Henry is just sitting on his Divine Thunder and his Tear and a couple longswords. So there is a little bit of a power difference right now. And, fortunately for ABD, they do have that infinite scaling of the Nasus where it can get to a point where Nasus can just TP into your base and just take your entire base if you're not careful. So they do have to be careful with that. But at this point, the game is definitely firmly in GME's hands.
For sure, and I don't think that the comms on ABD's side are too happy right now. That will be the second herald of the game, this time around going to the side of GME. GME still really in control of this game, nearing a 3k goal lead. At this point, I think that you just need to look for these micro team fights or any picks here and there that you can get. I think that any objective that you really try to force for is going to be absolutely difficult to go through, especially seeing that huge, wall of that Lulu and the Kog'Maw that you kind of have to smash through if you want to ever have a hope at looking at these dragons or even barons for that mark. But with the next dragon in 50 seconds, we're going to have to see a kind of do or die situation for ABD. If they give it up, they can still look to trade towards topside. Reeve has been doing a lot of pressure towards topside and for the most part has not left. That is going to be the first item Hullbreaker though. He still has that Sheen, so it is going to be looking like kind of a nearing that Divine Sunder as we talked about earlier, but we're just still going to have to see. His build is kind of all over the place right now.
Yeah, something to note for this game is we did end up rolling a Mountain Soul, which Mountain Soul is pretty impactful for both of these teams. For the side of ABD, it definitely is preferable on champs like Nasus and Leona. Being able to have that Mountain Soul and increasing your armor and MR versus Kog'Maw is such a huge deal, and it will allow them those precious seconds to kind of deal with that champion. Whereas on the side of GME, it's also great as well. Kog'Maw with extra armor and MR means he's so much more tanky. going to be such a problem for them to deal with as team fights. As a little 1v1 is breaking out here, Badu taking a little bit more than he can chew.
Kog'Maw is down here as well, as is
Oh
the rest
my
of GME
God.
as they try to near out on top of this third dragon at the game, and that will be secured and going over to them here at 20 minutes and 40 seconds. As you said, just stacking these mountain dragons, especially that soul, is really disastrous for any opponent. Meanwhile, though, Rave is successfully able to take out the top tower, surely at the cost of his ult, but I don't think that he's crying about that anytime soon.
Yeah, we can see, you know, Fizz here did end up going for the stopwatch first build. This is something that's pretty popular in the higher elo of Fizz mains. Usually when you play up against other assassins, a lot of the times if you can just land your R, then land your entire combo and go for a stopwatch, by the time you're back up, your combo will be back up, so it allows you to kind of win those fights. Or if you ever just get caught out, having a stopwatch is such a huge deal, and on Fizz, with such a hard ability to catch due to his playful trickster, it could be extremely hard to deal with when he has that stopwatch. You can see here that the Rift Herald
gonna be
is.
Herald here.
Yep. Now we'll end up just being the tower for free. Looks like who's gonna get the local gold? Looked like Kog'Maw got it. As Jay just continues to bully here in the top lane, making it as hard as possible for Rave to farm these stacks.
No fun. He is not having fun at all here. Herald will get that second charge up on this tier 2 as well, but it looks like Leona really wants in here. They're trying to just chain all the CC that they can. Equalizer was a little bit diagonal, more than they expected, but look at Jinsoul's HP. Out of nowhere comes the Nocturne through the Paranoia, but meanwhile, Henry is free hitting to his fullest. Oh my god, Penelope!
Oh my
God.
God.
He gets the R2. Now it's now it's JT in the back line. Beat him, trying to trade it up. Make that a triple kill. Now going over to Penelope. Holy smokes. Scumbag Henry steals the Quadra, but he potentially could get it here as well. The W will land right on top of Penelope. It looked like he barely made it out, but he still is in this fight. Oh my goodness. No fun at all. That is going to be a Q3 Slamachino right on top of Penelope. And it kind of makes you question, where was Rave?
He's
Riv
pushing
is
in the
just
top
pushing the whole
lane.
game. Riv is not leaving side lane this game.
I was like under the impression that Rave died, and then I looked towards top tower, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh, Jay here may be overstepping a little bit. Leona is here. This
Yeah,
should just be a free
definitely
kill.
He's dead. He's dead. Well, okay.
You know, Jay there overstepping a little bit, thinking he had the priority to kind of push in this mid tower and get it for free, but unfortunately does get caught out. You know, but big thing to notice is the transfer of gold over to Akali. Picked up that triple kill, got the shutdown onto Kog'Maw. So this Akali is going to be a little bit of a problem for this Kog'Maw to deal with, you know, with so much gold on top of her and the stopwatch being picked up as well. 2 full items means she is going to get that extra Omnivamp from the Riftmaker passive. And it's going to make it a lot easier for her to dive into the backline if she has the stopwatch to save her.
Uh-oh, Kawhi now looking to turn this right on top of the Nocturne. Solar Flare going to be thrown out. Overgrowth now going to be used right on top of the Nocturne as well. Paranoia does come out. It looks like Jay is 1 HP. Oh my god. Henry does not have the ultimate just yet. Penelope looking to style a little bit longer. Now it's going to be Tyler in the back line. He does trade it 1 for 1. Poseidon is dangerously low. Ray finally does TP in, but look at that post-mortem kill from Tyler right on top of Poseidon. DK, baby. 1Q will be all that you need. Plus 12, baby. Oh my goodness. Now Aatrox is still really, really tanky, and he is incredibly strong to his own benefit as well. He is instantly able to take away any type of potential tier 1 push in the mid lane. But what a complete annihilation of this GME squad. Just a second ago, it was about 3k gold down, and now we are nearing a 400 gold lead on the side of ABD for the first time in this game.
Yeah, it was
Oh
a
my
tragic fight from GME. They really thought they were a lot more ahead than they were. And due to that, you know, Nocturne and Lulu taking a fight that they really have no business taking. Kog'Maw is nowhere near. Their team is nowhere near. So if anyone from ABD is out of vision, which they knew so many were, they could just be there. And it caused the fight to go that way where they just wasted all their cooldowns on the wrong person. And Kog'Maw just wasn't able to pump out damage. He maybe killed, I think it was Ezreal, and just didn't have the opportunity to kill anyone else. So a little bit of a missed posturing from them. And unfortunately for ABD, it doesn't just mean you straight win the game. The gold is back to even now, so they are both on equal footing. But it does make the game a lot easier for ABD, and it makes it a lot harder for this Kog'Maw.
Well, 4th Dragon of the game going to be spawning here within the next 30 seconds. Rave instantly going to be saying, you know what, forget any kind of top push. I need my team needs me. And it might be looking like a +6 here right before the Drag actually spawns up. It's going to be Q down. Will they give this over? All right, and they do. And it's Nocturne right there. The Wither is going to be coming out as well. The E takes out that W. Quick work there. Bidoof this time around going to be kind of just dismounting everyone. Look at just that hard CC into the Equalizer. Overgrowth going to be used right on top of the Nocturne to keep him alive. That is important to note, guys, because now Lulu does not have this Overgrowth for any potential Kog'Maw fight or an engage on their side. Nocturne is really going to have to just get in there. No flash available, no paranoia. So this is going to have to be a miracle steal. We're going to have to see if they can do it. It is going to be Poseidon who does land that smite, though, thankfully. Look at Rave's health. It's dangerously low. Now it's Penelope in the backside. The polymorph, he was hoping for too much, but just like Icarus, he flew towards the sun and burnt up. Now it's Bidoof who gets that shut, or sorry, it is going to be Jinsel who gets that shutdown. Henry doing his best Q work that he can. The Divine Sunder of Prox are coming out. Look at Tyler's HP. Why is he walking off? Oh my god! But he gets the kill anyways! Oh my god, it is going to be Henry who trades that off. No flash available for him just yet. Aatrox gets another in the wing of the jungle. And it is just going to be Rave who looks to live another day.
What a fiesta this game is.
Oh my god. Did you expect this kind of result?
Oh, man.
Triple cast only for bangers.
Yeah, only for Bears. Yeah, I knew this game was going to be crazy. It is honestly shaping up
Second
so
code joined.
much. Yeah. It's kind of weird how GME were able to win that fight. Unfortunately for ABD, they kind of fudged the engage on the Kog'Maw and only had Penelope going in, which means that, you know, that's just an easy polymorph for Lulu. She only has to focus on one person. And that means that Kog'Maw is able to pump out so much damage. GME were down 2 ultimates. They were down the Wild Growth and down the Paranoia from the Nocturne, so it really meant they should have struggled in that fight, but they excelled due to just ABD not handling the Kog'Maw correctly.
Right, they
I feel
commit
like ABD,
so... Sorry,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like ABD weren't on the same page for that one, whereas GME was.
I mean,
Yeah.
exactly that, right? We saw Penelope go in, and then immediately right after, maybe about 2 seconds later, Poseidon just comes through. Granted, if they really want to go for an Akali, just an R1 or even R2 engage, they need to be on the same page. Like you said, they had used that Equalizer earlier. They used about 3 ults trying to catch out onto the Nocturne, whereas, you know, GME had only used 2. We potentially could be looking at a catch out here. Poseidon just absolutely eating the chunk of these autos. Equalizer going to be thrown out, but it doesn't actually do anything here. Poseidon going to be gone as well off of the map. Now it's Penelope going into the fray yet again. Kawaii Star just able to run away, but for how much longer? Make that a double kill going over to Jinsel this time around, and then they turn their collective head straight to this Baron.
Yeah, it's really hard to kill this Pokemon now with this itemization.
I'm just going to say this right now. If ABD steal this Baron, I'll gift 5 subs in chat. There is no way that they steal this. I am almost confident that they don't steal. I don't think that they steal this. Okay, the E from the Nasus is a little bit short. There is nothing in the pick just yet. Nasus
Oh!
oh my god!
that's
Okay,
smite.
if the E was on it, okay, holy.
Okay, what a bit of a fail smite there, but it's fine. No one saw that. No one saw anything, but you know, you can see here, this game is really not shaping up ABD's way. They were able to bring it back so many times in the early game and in the mid game. But now, you can tell when a team is coordinated and what they're trying to do in these fights. When as soon as this fight is over, GME instantly turns to the Baron. They know what they want to do. They know how they want to end this game. And with the Baron on this team, they should be able to crack open the rest of these tier 2s, if not an inhibitor tower in the mid lane. And really, this facilitates the Mountain Soul for them potentially, as they will have priority over this dragon. And, you know, you can tell if a team is good in this stage of the game, where it's very easy for them to get over ambitious and try and take too much, but they need to push their vision forward, get these outer turrets gone, and really look to start taking control of this dragon.
Like you said, right? At these dire moments of these games, it especially shows you the versatility, the strength of these teams. And now it's just a means of whether or not ABD will be able to conquer their demons, get over that slump. They are nearing now being down about 5k gold or even more. And they still have yet to find any sustainable or deficient answers for this Kog'Maw, or even the Aatrox for that matter. They have Bidoof's number, they have Nyan's number, they even have the Lulu's number. But 2 of these champions out of the 5 are just super unkillable to them unless they exert everything. And even when they exert everything, they still can only land out on 1 to die here. They can never get that full 5-man ace. And now it's just very dangerous as the Kog'Maw is just full and free hitting there. Oh, Solar Flare does go out. Equalizer right on top of 3 in the back line. Kawaii Star now looking just to stall it out, and he does get that Lulu there. Poseidon dangerously low, pops that Zonia. Yeah, Akali is trying to go for the flank. Rave is still available as well. The flash forward into the queue, not able to land anything just yet. It is going to be Aatrox, though, versus 2 versus the world. Look at that Gore Drinker HP healing. Just really unkillable. Bidoof is doing his best right now. A toy with Penelope. Bidoof, you absolute monster. Sustains and lives through all of that damage by the use of that Zonia. And nicely flexes right on top of Penelope with that Electrocute as well. But like I said earlier, you use so much to kill 3 out of the 5, but look at who's alive, the 2 most strongest members, and it's just Henry right now to stop this full-on onslaught. Random ultimate there from Ezreal. I'm not quite sure what he wanted to hit, but he definitely landed that, and it hit me in Cancun. And now it definitely looks like the Mountain Dragon is up as well here, and we potentially could be nearing out a soul point for the side of GME.
Yeah, if you're ABD, that's the kind of fight where you might just start thinking about throwing up an FF vote after that, because you had the perfect scenario. Kog'Maw was half HP, he took too much damage for poke.
Kog'Maw overstepped.
Yeah, Kog'Maw overstepped severely. Lulu casted the Wild Growth on the wrong target. That was the fight that you needed to happen, and they weren't able to make it happen. So from here on, it's going to take a spectacular mistake.
Wait, look at Henry's build.
It is.
That's double executioners.
He might be having a
Oh,
tanner
no,
moment.
listen to chat, he heard chat. He's like, wait a minute. Wait, I was just about to say. It doesn't stack like that.
You notice, it's okay. As you see, ABD still do have that scaling option, but it's really looking like they're not going to be able to have the scaling advantage. With the 6k gold diff almost on 7k, it's going to be very hard for this Nasus to have the maneuverability to kind of just get in these fights and DK. With Kog'Maw having so much support with the Shurela, so much lifesteal, he's so tanky as well.
Yeah, he's probably one of the tankiest champions in this game right now.
Yeah, honestly, they have 2 mountains as well, so he just has those extra stats.
Truth be told, I think it's a little bit too late here on the side of ABD to get these executioners. Everyone's just healing already, and they've already become monsters in their own right. That at this point, even if you are applying that executioners, hold that thought, though, Solar Flare does go out. They're going to be landing right on top of Jinso, but now it is Aatrox in the backline who is just absolutely deleting everyone. Quasar forced to flash away. That is going to be Lulu who ultimately kills him. Q2 rather, is going to land up right on top of Penelope. They are going to be using that equalizer more defensively, trying to take out that wave. Poseidon is going to get knocked up here on that Q2. The W does land from the Aatrox as well. It does not look like they really have anywhere to go here, as GME are looking to just close this thing out right now. It's just Henry with the Qs in the backline, but with Lulu shielding everyone and keeping everyone alive, there really is nothing else you can do here.
Yeah, and it's definitely a tragedy for ABD. This is the type of game where they had so many opportunities where they brought the lead back, they brought it back to even, they had the potential to go forward, as Akali is here looking for something.
Okay, Akali is going to be using the R1. The R2 is still going to be up here. No chance.
Yeah, so
Oh
tanky.
my god. That is not a Kog'Maw, that is a Pog'Maw. And now they are going to be getting him as well. Bidoof now unstoppable as he does claim the life of Henry and gives Henry his 5th death of the game. They have enough minions here. They have enough death timers just to end this one out. Poseidon is going to be up in about 4 seconds. The BMTP for the most part. Quasar will stop that. The Solar Flare does go out as well. Lulu is actually going to go down here. Equalizer out. It is going to be Bidoof who lands his ultimate on top of Poseidon as a little bit of a trade here.
Oh man, at GME here really having maybe a little bit more of a shaky game, but still proving that they were able to take down ABD.
Wow. GME lived to see another day. Like you said, right? Or like Coach said, rather. It's 5 solo queue players who at this point just need to find their footing. And it seems like they're doing a damn good job right now for the most part. Huge win over ABD really puts a lot of momentum on them and gives them enough, gives them a huge chip on their shoulder for the most part. Wow, look at those damage charts.
Honestly, I think Bidoof got carried.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily got carried, but he definitely did not have the impact that he usually has. He kind of had a little bit of an off game.
Yeah, when he picks Fizz, like you would expect him to maybe do more.
Yeah. I'm surprised that Nocturne didn't do as much as I thought he did.
Yeah,
I thought Nocturne would do more than Nasus. Because Nasus realistically was only in fights around that 26-minute mark when he started team fighting and clumping up. aside from that, Nocturne was really adamant on the map really early on. Granted, he was
Nocturne-
getting caught out for the most part to start off a lot of those engages on ABD because ABD would use so many resources, so many ultimates just trying to kill him out before importing objectives. But still, this is very interesting damage charts, and it's really telling.
I thought GME were gonna play side lanes and like with their strong side lanes and have Nocturne like just be a menace on the map.
Hmm.
But Nocturne didn't really do that. They just kind of play the game through Kog'Maw and Lulu.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how they, fare up and their thoughts for the most part, though. I think we are going to be moving on to our question portion, and we will be starting off with ABD.
What the fuck is going on?
Interviews time.
Yeah, interviews.
Hello.
All right, ABD, welcome, welcome, welcome. Straight off of the bat here, it is your first game, so nothing really too crazy. But I want to ask, what was the decision between, subbing Henry in here versus your normal AD carry and Dilly?
Henry said he wanted to play against Tiger.
You know, we thought about it. It wasn't it wasn't
It wasn't a
quick
spur of the moment decision.
It wasn't a spur of the moment decision.
We thought about this for months.
We thought about this for months actually. But
Got some
Dilly's off
Chipotle
until
earlier.
he's taking personal time.
Yeah, he's taking personal time.
Well, my next question going over to you, Penelope. Penelope, we were talking about it before, and it seems like every chance you can get, you're always asking for a fizz ban when you go up against Bidoof. You didn't get it this time around. Was there any reason behind that, or were you confident in picking the Kali into the fizz?
Yeah, I think I did fine into it. He couldn't really fight me at all, so
Yeah, I don't really think he did anything that game.
yeah, he didn't really do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Kog'Maw was actually the team.
Yeah, I don't know. You like look at that game. I don't understand how we're in season 11. They're like mythics are so important, and Kog'Maw can get away with building a third item. It's kind of gross.
And how he
And then he can build last item's force of nature, and I assume he's going stone plate. So he's dealing the most damage on the team while also being the tankiest member of their team. So it's a fun build.
I want to ask you, Kawaisar, you did pick that Lulu early, or sorry, the Leona rather early on, especially with that Ezreal pairing. But then you guys have kind of the split push style Nasus. Was the plan the entire time just to play through bot and then look for Rave to split, or were you guys constantly looking for picks on the Leona on the cross map roams, or how did that go about?
Originally, we thought Nocturne was top, but yeah, I picked Leona for the skirmish, but it didn't work out. Kyle got too many kills in the jungle.
And Henry, you are going up against your former teammate here, T-Lam. Tell me about that rivalry. What made you want to play in this game especially?
Yeah, Tyler sucks. I saw Tanner gapped him last season super hard, so I decided I wanted a turn 2, but he's a little
But now
weak
he
dog.
gapped you.
I'd also like to say our whole team was here on time, so that's a win for me.
Little weak
Yeah.
dog picks Kog'Maw and
That's a win for me.
I was
clicks on
actually a
something
little
and
fatigued that
they
game
have picked.
too. Having
Yeah,
to wait 30
Having
extra
to wait,
minutes to play
having
the
to
game.
wait like 45 minutes to get in game was really fun. For them to then just pick Kog'Maw Lulu. This is a very fun game.
Do you realistically think that, that entire wait kind of just cut your guys' productivity in this game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I guess my final question, going over to Rave here. Rave, you, for the first time, I think in a long time, you did not buy a Sunfire, but you did go that Hullbreaker early. Is there any reason why you went the Hullbreaker early aside for the split push, or?
Because that shit gives you like 40 armor and MR when you're by yourself.
Mhm.
For very, very cheap. Like, it's actually just better than a Sunfire Cape.
And then you also had the Unseal Spellbook.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any reason why you had the Unseal Spellbook aside for the Grasp, or?
Just to be able to get Exhaust and like Ghost and stuff to like try to run onto the Kog'Maw, but I don't know. The guy's too tanky, so even nothing I can really do. Even when I have like 500, 600 stacks, he's still just not dying. When any other ADC probably would have died very quickly.
You think this game drastically would have been very different if it was not a Kog'Maw in place?
Oh yeah, if it was any other
Yeah.
ADC, that game would have been.
Did you see how we had fights where we literally hit
Everything on
Leona
him.
E
Yeah.
into Leona ult into Rumble ult on top of the Kog'Maw with Ezreal ult on him, and he actually just stood there.
Mhm.
Like no other ADC would really do that. So I mean, what are you gonna do? Just nerf the champion.
All right.
Please.
Well, thank you guys very much, and good luck on your second game.
Thanks.
All right, and now we will be moving on to our second portion here and talking with GME. All right, welcome GME, and congratulations to your first win of the season. Tell me a little bit about the rationale, because we just heard a lot of discussion about the Kog'Maw Lulu lane. Did you guys come into this game automatically wanting to pick up this Kog'Maw, or was it more so you guys saw it was open and just went for it? Or
I wanted to play Kog'Maw to begin with, but JT was like, "Bro, I want to play Zyra."
Yeah. But
I told him like, "You can play Zyra. I don't care," because I was gonna go tank anyways. It was hard to kill me no matter what.
JT,
But I didn't
speaking-
trust JT, so
you did
forced
not
him
trust
onto Lulu.
JT.
classic.
I
Yeah,
never
well,
trust this guy.
I was just focused on getting the game started, you know.
Well, speaking about that synergy between the two of you, and then we even look towards Nyan, I want to ask you, what differentiates your guys' GME versus last season's GME, JT?
More just different players, I guess, but like I don't know. That's it. It's basically a new team, honestly.
So it's a new team with just the same exact name. You think that you guys are going to go farther, the same?
Farther hopefully.
We're gonna win this thing. Any truers,
Well, yeah,
guys?
Whoa!
Beat up out of nowhere.
Whoa.
True.
Yo, there's no truers. That's a little tragic.
Oh yeah, I heard a few.
Beat up with the with Never Lose, sorry, dissolving here after 3 seasons together, and now you were forced to get a new team. Was the decision to play again very difficult for you, or are you just waiting for the right team? Or
I don't know. I kind of hate League, to be honest. I don't really play that much, but it's fun to play in this tournament, honestly.
He said he was gonna retire when I said I am leaving.
Is this true? Is this false?
No comment.
Therefore,
Well,
it was true.
does that kind of, have any weight on you coming back to play? Did you want a gap code, or what was the story there?
No, I don't really care that much.
It's
I'm
like
just here to play, you know, have some fun, make some
what a nice guy.
friends.
Draft BPM first.
Nah,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
you just gotta gap your old teammates, bro. Henry's trash. This guy plays League all day. I come back once every few days, and I still shit on him.
Well, I think that's it for me, unless my co-hosts have anything to say.
No, I think you pretty much covered it all. It was an exciting game.
Yeah, congratulations, and good luck on your next game, guys.
By the way, I don't even play top, but I solo killed.
Wait, did you guys see that solo kill?
I'm just saying.
We saw it.
You guys see him farming top?
I saw.
Hell yeah.
Direct to the camera.
Oh, I actually do have like one last question, Jay. Did you slap the pig or what?
Yo, I slapped the pig in the top lane. That's what I did.
Whoa! All right, well, thank you very much. Minus 2 bans.
Minus 2 bans. He slapped
It's
the
always the
pig and
minus
heard it
2.
oink.
Yeah, it's always the minus 2 for sure. All right, well, thank you guys very much for watching the KDL. I'm very excited to have season 5. Sorry for any rough starts that we've had last couple of days, but hopefully these next couple of days are just as fun as today was. I want to thank everyone for last second as well, just coming in clutch with the stream last couple of days, Raul, and then Poseidon as well. Yeah, and I also want to thank Code for ganking us and making this a fun little triple cast. He wasn't lying when he said triple casts are only for bangers, and this was definitely a game that called for it. Congratulations again to GME, and thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to follow, join the Discord if you want more information. If you want to talk to players, follow the schedule or anything like that. But aside for that, We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.